Hey guys, I'm Chanelle. We're here today for 45 minutes of power flow together. No props are needed. If you'd like, sometimes I recommend a block or maybe a book if you're practicing at home. But other than that, let's get started on our mats. And so we'll start today down on our mats in child's pose. So feet together, knees wide, arms can be out in front of you. Head resting on your mat, that third eye being grounded. We begin to lengthen our inhales and our exhales. Letting go of any thoughts that might have come up as we join together on our mats. Just setting them aside for later. Releasing any tension. Maybe that's breathing into that space. You feel your hips are tight. Maybe you're still holding tension by your neck or in your shoulders, trying to release that. We'll do some box breathing together, inhaling for 4, pausing for 4, exhaling for 4, and pausing for 4, like we're making a square with our breath. Letting go any air that is currently in our lungs. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. Continuing this at your own pace for just a little bit longer. We'll meet in a tabletop position. Hips going over knees, shoulders over elbows, over wrist. Taking some cat-cows here. On an inhale, dropping our belly, lifting our gaze for cow. Exhale, drawing navel to spine for cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Taking these at your own pace, connecting breath to movement. Might feel good here to take a couple of other movements. Maybe that's some barrel rolls. Maybe you stretch out your wrists. pointing your fingers towards your knees. Taking what your body needs here as we prepare for some more movement. One more breath. Meeting with a neutral spine. We'll tuck our toes for floating table, hovering our knees just an inch off the mat. Engaging our core here without moving. Thinking about drawing our knees to our wrists and our wrists to our knees. That usually instantly makes me quiver. Maybe you just felt the same. Holding here, still breathing. Puffing up that space between your shoulders if you're beginning to sag into them. One more deep inhale. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, shifting the hips back, downward facing dog. First downward dog of our practice here. Maybe you pedal out your feet, lowering one knee, the opposite heel, working towards the mat. Knowing that downward dog is a home-based pose. If you feel you need to catch your breath, get a sip of water, towel off, you can always meet back in downward facing dog. Breathing here. Take one more breath. And on our exhale, begin to walk our hands back to our feet for an easy ragdoll. Maybe you widen your stance, grabbing opposite elbows with our hands. You could sway side to side here. Maybe tucking the chin in just a little bit more, allowing that tension in our necks to release. Eventually meeting back in stillness. We'll release the bind if we have it and slowly begin to rise up vertebrae by vertebrae, head being the last to rise. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, half lift. With a flat back, palms might be pressing into the shins actively. Exhale, we walk our hands out to the top of our mat for our plank pose. Core is engaged here with a neutral spine. You might be looking between your hands. Make sure your gaze is out, maybe 3 inches in front of the top of your mat to hold that neutral spine all the way through your neck. Puffing up the space between your shoulders, actively pushing the ground away from you. Hips maybe shifting up just slightly. We'll push forward onto our toes. On our next exhale, lowering all the way to our bellies slowly for cobra. Tops of feet touch the mat. Inhale, chest lifts. Exhale, lowers. Inhale, chest lifts. Maybe you float your hands off the mat. Exhale, lowering the head. One more, inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. Either coming up through tabletop or plank and pushing back, downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, step or float, top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, planting your hands, walking back to plank. This time we shift forward, only lowering halfway, elbows tucking in at our sides. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Knowing you can take either of those options for your flow, or you can skip it all together, meeting in downward facing dog. We'll inhale, exhale, step or float, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold, building heat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, chaturanga, your flow to downward facing dog. Step or float, top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, maybe jump back for your chaturanga. Up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step or float, top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, fold, taking one more at your own pace. Do a half lift. Plant your hands, take your flow. Meeting back, downward facing dog. We'll step or float, top of our mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more, reach the arms up with an inhale. Exhale to chair. So we'll sit back, weight in our heels. Maybe that means you can wiggle your toes a little bit. Maybe you can look down, see your toes just past your knees. If you're like me and you have a natural curve in your spine, maybe try to tilt the pelvis down slightly, trying to remove that curve in the spine. Working the shoulders out of our ears. I like to turn my pinkies in. It naturally tells them to go down and release. Holding here, making sure we're breathing. One more inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, your flow, leaning back in downward facing dog. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Bending the knee, stacking the hip, maybe rolling out the ankle. Returning back, three-legged dog, sending it through, warrior one. Grounding through our feet, setting up first before lifting. Your knee will be over your ankle. Back toes will be pointing towards your left corner of your mat. Heels are both planted. Still working our shoulders back and down. Arms can be up, or we'll take eagle arms here. Right arm under left, wrapping, having our palms touch. You can also rest your palms on your shoulders, opposite shoulders. Working still to have the elbows be in line with our shoulders. Pushing our forearms away. This is a very active pose. We'll inhale, exhale, humbling our warrior with eagle arms, crunching with our core. Staying for another breath. On your next inhale, using your core to lift you. Releasing your eagle arms. Maybe you take a cactus to counter that. Inhale. Exhale, plant your hands. Take your flow. Maybe you float your right foot as you chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts this time. Same options as before. Bending the knees, stacking the hip, rolling out the ankle. Whatever feels good in your body. Before returning back, three-legged dog. Active in our left leg. Purposefully sending it through, planting it between our hands, setting up our base first. Before rising for warrior one. Making sure our right hip is tracking towards the front of us, our left hip is sending back. Taking eagle arms on this side, left goes under right. Being active here, making sure the elbows are in line with our shoulder and are parallel with our mat below us. Inhale. Exhale, humble your warrior with eagle arms. Inhale. Exhale. Next inhale lifts you back up with your core. Releasing your arms, maybe taking a cactus back in your warrior one. Before planting your hands, maybe floating the left foot this time as you take your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, step or float, top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, chair, meeting here once again. Inhale. Using your exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, your flow. In downward facing dog, right leg lifts. Sending it through for warrior one, planting between our hands. Taking our eagle arms once again, right under left. We'll humble for a breath, lowering the eagle arms. Inhale, rising back up, maintaining our eagle arms in warrior one. We'll begin to ground through our right foot, lifting off for warrior three with eagle arms. If you're over the eagle arms, feel free to ditch them. They can be out in front of you or behind you. Holding strong here. Inhale. Hold for the exhale. One more inhale before planting the back foot, crescent warrior. Holding those eagle arms just a little bit longer, settling into the pose, then releasing for cactus. Using our breath, inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, back to cactus. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, the arms back up. Exhale, we plant our hands, taking our flow. Or skipping and meeting back in downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, planted between your hands, setting up warrior one. Eagle arms, left under right. Humbling our warrior with eagle arms. Lifting back up with our core. Staying with our eagle arms in warrior one, we ground through our left leg this time. You know where we're going. Lift off, warrior three. Back foot is active, trying to stamp the right heel onto the back wall behind you. Remembering to breathe here. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, crescent with eagle arms. Back heel is lifted. We release our eagle arms into cactus. Take a couple inhales, lifting our arms. Exhales, pressing them back to cactus at your own pace. Meeting back with our arms up. We plant our hands, taking our flow. Meeting in downward facing dog. Looking towards the top of our mat. We step or float. Our feet up. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. You might know where we're going to play with balance. We'll go to eagle, Garudasana, eagle pose. We'll take our eagle arms once again, right under left first. Maybe it's grabbing onto your shoulders. Grounding through our right leg, begin to stair step the left, crossing it over, sinking back into a chair. We hold here. Maybe you kickstand the foot on the ground to the right of your leg. Maybe you keep it floating. Maybe you work to wrapping that left leg around, really squeezing everything here together, trying to keep the spine as straight as we can. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, releasing the feet, sending the left foot back, warrior three. I know this leg is probably shaking, but you got it, you're strong. Holding in your warrior three for just another beat, breathing here. And on your next exhale, crescent warrior, the left foot lowers, releasing those eagle arms, sending them up. Taking a flow here, or meeting back in downward facing dog. Look towards the top of your mat, make your way there, step or float. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. We'll do eagle on the other side this time. Left arm under right, wrapping our eagle arms. This time we can enter a different way, sitting into chair first. Grounding through that left leg, right leg begins to stair step. Sending it up and over. Same options as before, knowing our sides are different. Maybe you kickstand on this side, having the toes touch the floor. Maybe you keep the foot up for a balance challenge, or you try wrapping your foot. Breathing here. Knowing that if you fall out, it's okay. Just smile and get back into it, you got this. One more inhale. Exhale, warrior three, right leg goes back. Creating the capital letter T with our body. Stamping that right foot towards the back of the room. Breathing here, strong warrior. Inhale, exhale, plant that back foot, crescent warrior, holding for a beat before releasing your eagle arms into a cactus. Inhale, sending them up. Exhale, planting, taking your flow. Inhale. Exhale, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll take a chair pose here. You can towel off, get a drink of water if you would like, before meeting us back in chair pose. We'll take one more breath in chair pose before lowering our butt to our mats. We'll lower on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Meeting in Navasana, boat pose. Shins can work to be parallel with the mat below us. Toes can be touching our mat. Or you can work to extend the legs out in front of you. Holding here. Inhale. Exhale, low boat, lowering. Inhale, back to high boat. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Holding in our low boat here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, full body stretch. Probably the best feeling it is for me. You can draw your knees into your chest, rocking back and forth, or drawing circles with your knees, massaging either your abs that you just worked or maybe your back. Taking this moment to reflect on all the hard work you just did for yourself. We'll rock and roll the length of our mats. Maybe 3 times, giving our back a nice massage before meeting back in boat pose. Again, options here. You can have your toes touching the ground or legs parallel with the floor. We'll take some Russian twist here. If you have that book or block, you can place it between your hands. Otherwise, you can take hands at heart center and begin to twist right to left, trying to have the elbows meet the ground, really twisting, working those obliques. You're strong, you got this. Do 3 more on each side. And on your last one, bringing those knees into your chest, rolling onto your back, giving your abdominals and your back a nice massage. Meeting in stillness, we'll rock and roll the length of our mat once more. Meeting in a tabletop position. Maybe that means you cross your ankles and roll over them, or you find another way of meeting us in tabletop. You can sit back onto your feet here. We're going to be taking camel. So for our camel pose, we'll come up with a 90-degree bend with our legs behind us. Preparing for camel, we'll take our hands near our sacrum, our low back, having the palms resting there, having the elbows tracking back towards the back of the room, shoulders still staying out of our ears. We can also take our stance to about hip width apart. Sometimes I like to measure with 2 fists there. Toes can be tucked They can be untucked, it's up to you. We'll inhale to prepare. Exhale. On our next inhale, begin to shift our hips forward, using our palms to help guide them. This is camel. You can stay here, or you can begin to lower your hands to your feet. Maybe if your feet are tucked or your toes are tucked, you can grab onto your heels here. You can keep your gaze at the ceiling, or you can release, having your gaze go towards the back of the room. If you want a little bit deeper of a back bend, you can untuck your toes, giving you a little bit more room, continuing to shift those hips forward, and breathing here, knowing your body best. You can come out before I say, because really this is your practice, I'm just your guide today. Taking 3 more breaths here, maybe trying to take 1 more breath past what you think you can, because you can challenge your body. 1 more inhale. When you're ready to come out slowly the way you came in, planting your hands back on your sacrum, lowering slowly back onto your heels, pausing in stillness here, allowing the back to reset just for a moment, maybe planting your palms on top of your thighs and breathing here. Before countering this pose with embryo, our legs come together, head towards the mat, arms long beside our legs, maybe touching near our heels or our toes. And just breathing here. We'll take 1 more breath here before meeting back in tabletop, planting our hands back onto our mat, lifting our torso up. Maybe taking a couple of cat-cows here. That might feel good to continue to reset the spine. Meeting in stillness once again with a neutral spine. We'll take lizard pose here. So we'll step our feet back to plank pose just for a beat, not too long, before having the right leg go to the right side, outside of our hand for lizard. You can stay active in your lizard here with your left leg staying off the ground, or you can lower the knee to the mat, maybe untucking the toes. This is also a nice time for a block or your book that you might have grabbed before class. Being able to maybe come down onto that block or that book, or lowering the elbows down to the mat for a deeper stretch. Options here if you'd like. Coming back up onto your hands if you were lowered. You can allow the foot to roll onto the pinky side, allowing the knee to move outward. You can use the right hand to push on the knee, having a little bit of an opener here with the chest. Still feeling it also in our left quad. You could also bend the left knee. Try to grab that back foot with your hand. creating more of a quad stretch on the left side as well as we work this right side. We're here for just another breath, releasing that bind that you might have with your foot. Coming back into an active lizard. Maybe you're pushing back onto your hands if you're on your forearms. We'll send the leg back for three-legged dog. You can bend the knee, stack the hip, roll out the ankle. That might feel good to reset. Before coming back to downward facing dog, left leg to the sky for three-legged dog. Before sending it outside our left hand, setting up for lizard on the left side. Again, same options as before, knowing you don't have to take the same thing on both sides, as both sides are different. You can lower our right leg, untucking our toes here, lowering down onto our forearms to deepen this stretch. Sometimes when I'm tight, I might come down on my left side, I would come down onto my right forearm and tent my fingers on my left side until I might be able to breathe into that tension, that space in my body, then trying to lower that left elbow to meet the floor. Sometimes it doesn't meet it. We can begin to let the knee shift to our left side, rolling onto the pinky edge of our foot, pushing, opening our chest and pushing our left hand to our left knee. You'll feel this in different places than if you were lowering into lizard like we were before. You can bend that right knee and try to reach back with your left hand to get a little bit of a quad stretch on the right side this time. One more breath here, releasing a bind if you have one, returning back to our active lizard. Before sending the leg back, left leg back for three-legged dog. Bending the knees, stacking the hips, rolling out the ankle here once more. Before lowering it to the ground for downward facing dog. Look to the top of our mat. We can step or float our way there. Once there, just lowering onto our backs. Legs out long. We'll take legs up the wall here. Our legs will go towards the ceiling for our inversion. Toes can be pointed, they can be flexed. It's really up to you. Allowing gravity to do the work here. If there's another inversion that's calling you today, maybe shoulder stand, tripod, headstand, you can feel free to go there. We'll be here for another 5 breaths. On your last exhale, drawing your knees into your chest, preparing for happy baby, having the knees go to our side bodies, grabbing the outsides of our feet. I like to work my back, my lower back towards the floor. I feel a different kind of stretch sometimes there than when I allow the lower back to be hovering off the mat. So maybe you can play with that today for your practice. Maybe rocking side to side here. We'll allow the legs to go long. Preparing for supine twist. We'll draw the right leg into our chest. Then maybe pulling it, guiding it towards our right shoulder. Taking a breath here before gently guiding it across our left side body. Arms can be at a T. They can be like a cactus. For a deeper stretch, your gaze can be over your right side. Breathing here. One more inhale. Exhale, returning that right knee towards your right side body, giving it a little squeeze towards the right shoulder once more before sending it long. Left leg comes in this time, squeezing it in towards our left side body, our left shoulder. Taking a breath here before sending it over our right side. Same options as before with our arms. You can have them teed out. You can have them in a cactus. Sometimes I like to use my one arm, the weight of it, to guide the other leg down closer to the earth. Gaze can be over our left side this time. Breathing here. One more breath here before returning that left leg back towards the center, giving it one final squeeze into our left side body before sending it long. Take a full body stretch here before drawing both knees into our chest, maybe rolling side to side once more. Before tucking into the smallest, tightest ball you can, lifting your forehead towards your knees, your chest, your chin drawing into your chest, grabbing opposite elbows, one big inhale, hold, exhale, release everything long. Preparing for Shavasana here. There's nothing left for you to do. I'll leave you here in Shavasana. Again, my name is Chanelle. Thank you for spending 45 minutes with me for this invigorating power flow. We'll see you next time.